In this transitional guided reading lesson, I will be working with a group of 5 third graders who are reading below grade level. Before the lesson, I met with the student's teacher and we consulted the assessment summary chart. We have a diverse group, which is often the case with transitional readers. Overall, these students are doing well with monitoring for meaning and retelling, so I think a good focus strategy would be to deepen their retelling with inferential thinking by having them track a character's feelings. We chose the book Henry's Freedom Box, a biographical story about a young man who seeks freedom from slavery. It's a good choice for our focus strategy because the main character's feelings change throughout the book. These students also have background knowledge about slavery and the Underground Railroad. I will provide a scaffold for the students by flagging places in the book where I want them to make an inference about the character's feelings. I'll also give them a list of vocabulary words that they can choose from to describe Henry's feelings. This will enhance their vocabulary and prevent them from using generic words such as happy, sad, and mad. Because most of the students are strong with decoding, we can skip the word study portion of the lesson. I'll address decoding issues by prompting individuals while they're reading the book. At the transitional level, it usually takes 2 days to finish the book. Days 1 and 2 follow the same structure. On day 3, we may spend a few minutes rereading some of the text for fluency, and then spend the rest of the lesson time on guided writing. Now here is day 1 of a transitional guided reading lesson, followed by a summary of day 2. You can follow along with the lesson plan in the viewing guide. Boys and girls, today you're going to be reading the story called Henry's Freedom Box. And I want you to look at the title and read what's underneath the title. A true story from the Underground Railroad. Put your thumb up if you can tell me something about the Underground Railroad. Kendrick.
They went to the Underground Railroad to communicate and escape from...
Escape from what? Who went through the Underground Railroad? The slaves. Good. Can you add to that, Haley?
The slaves had to go through the Underground Railroad and try to go to the north.
Right. Remember, the Underground Railroad, was it really a railroad?
No.
No, it wasn't really a railroad. It was just a bunch of people who were helping slaves escape from the South, okay? In this story, this is a true story. This really happened. And this is a story about Henry, and you're going to be reading what happened to Henry and why he risked his life to become free. Now, I want you to go ahead and look at the pictures. You're going to start out with Henry as a child. And today, when you're reading through the story, you're going to be focusing on Henry's feelings. So every place there's a Post-it note, you're going to stop and think about what happened on this page and how Henry felt. Okay, so just kind of look through. There he is with his mother. I want you to stop on this page right here when someone's in bed. Turn the page. This person who's in bed was Henry's master. And the master is the slave's what? Owner. Very good. Now, another word that's in the story is mistress. A mistress would be his wife. They would be the people that owned the slaves. Turn the page. Can anyone talk about what's happening here? What do you think might be happening? Anybody want to take a chance at that? What do you think, Hannah?
I think they're feeling sad for the master and all that.
They could be feeling sad for the master. That's right. Any other ideas? What are you thinking, Kendra?
Probably someone died.
Could be somebody had died.
I think they're sad because some of the people might be leaving.
Somebody is definitely leaving. Look who's in the wagon. And look who's outside the wagon. So this is the time when families had to be separated. Okay, turn the page. Now on this page, I want you to notice the leaves. This is a factory where Henry worked. And let's see, let's go right here. And this is tobacco leaves. And tobacco leaves were used to make, anybody know?
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes. Nasty for you. You don't want to do that. But that's what he was working in. Turn the page. Now you see Henry is talking to a woman. And you're going to read to find out who that woman was. Turn the page. Now, Henry is the man who's playing the banjo. Very good. So now we can see he's growing up. Turn the page. And there's Henry again. Turn the page. Can you pick out Henry in this picture?
I think he
Yes, and notice that somebody is behind him whispering to Henry. You're going to read to find out what he whispered to Henry. Turn the page.
Okay.
Oh my, can you find Henry? Yes, he's in the red shirt. And you're going to have to read to find out why he looks like that and what's happening. What are you thinking, Haley?
I think these people are going to jail.
Maybe they're going to jail, Isak?
They're going to jail. He's gonna try to save them.
Maybe, what a wonderful idea. You might be trying to save him, but you know what? When you read it, you're going to find out who these people are, and actually they're related to him. So, what are you thinking, Martin?
I think that they're being separated.
What a great, that's a prediction. It could be happening. All right, now look at him. You're going to be able to talk about how he's feeling. Now turn the page. Now we have some white people and some black people, and you're going to be reading to find out what this box is all about. And I'm going to stop right there, and we're going to talk about these feeling words, because as you're reading today, when you come to a Post-it note, you need to stop and think how the character is feeling. And I only have a couple rules. You cannot put happy or sad or mad. You cannot use those words. Now, if you can think of another word that describes that character's feelings, you can write it down on your little Post-it note. If you can't think of another word, you can look up here and use one of these. So you might be feeling excited if... Who has an idea when they were excited? Yes.
Just now.
Just now. You're excited just now because you're on this tape. Could be hopeful.
Like you're hoping that you get on TV.
You're hoping you might get on TV. Good. You might be thrilled if you get an A or if you get a F. What would make you thrilled?
Like if you're like you're reading this very good book and you want to read it again.
I love that. I could be thrilled to be reading a book. Oh, wonderful. You're feeling very peaceful.
Now sleeping on the roof.
Oh, it's when you're sleeping. You are right. You're very peaceful when you're sleeping. Disappointed. Want to share something, Marvin? A time when you were disappointed?
Disappointed when it was my brother's turn. I just wanted to be my turn again.
And it was your brother's turn. So you were disappointed that it wasn't your turn again. Perfect. Terrified. Haley.
I got terrified when there was a spider on the roof.
Oh, spider on the roof would definitely terrify me. Anybody ever be depressed? Something bad happened?
My cousin's mom died.
That would make you depressed. And you might be worried about, let's see, Kendrick, what might worry you? That you might not pass a test, maybe?
A grade.
A grade could worry you. Okay, so you can choose these words or you can choose your own. Alrighty? All right, you know what master and mistress is? Let me explain beckoned. When you beckon to somebody, you do this. You do it all the time. What are you saying? If I do this to you, what am I saying?
here.
Come here. Exactly. So this word is beckoned, and it means come here. Would you please beckon to each other? You beckon. You beckon to me. Good job. Boys and girls, when you read today, you're going to be coming to a Post-it note and thinking about how the character felt. And you're going to write a word. It can come out of your head or it can come off the board. But you cannot use happy, sad, or mad. Let's turn to the first page and let me show you what I mean. Follow along as I read. Henry Brown wasn't sure how old he was. Henry was a slave, and slaves weren't allowed to know their birthdays. And I'm looking at Henry. He's not even allowed to know his birthday. And I know it's not going to be a good feeling. So disappointed, terrified, depressed, or worried. Well, he's not really worried about something, but I could put down he was disappointed, or I could put down he was depressed. Turn the page, and now at the bottom of this page, I want you to all stop and write down a word that describes how Henry is feeling on this page, and then you go on. Okay. Go ahead and read that part for me.
Henry and his brother and sister woke up in the big house.
You read louder for me, please.
Where the big master lived. Henry Master had been good to Henry and his family, but Henry's mother knew things could change. Do you see those leaves blowing? in the wind. They are thorns from the trees, like slaves' children are torn from their families.
Do you understand? How is he feeling right here?
Sad.
He's feeling sad because why? Yeah, you can tell me he's feeling sad. Why is he feeling sad?
Because his family is separated.
Are they separated yet, or they could be separated?
Could be.
So, what one of these words might describe his feelings?
Worried.
Oh, I think that's a great choice. Go ahead and write that right there. Hey, Canna, what did you put down here?
Terrified.
Because
He might be terrified, like he won't be free.
that's a great thought. Okay, keep reading for me. Can you read a little bit louder?
One morning, the master called for Henry and his mother. He climbed the wide staircase. The master laid in the bed with only his head above the quilt. He was very ill. He beckoned them to come closer.
Is there a tricky word on there? Yeah, can you cover up the ending? He did what to make them come closer, remember?
Beck.
Beck. And cover your ending. So that says Beck.
One.
Not Juan, but beckon.
Beckon.
Beckon. Show me what it means to beckon. There you go. Keep going.
He beckoned to them to come closer. Some slaves were freed by their owners. Henry's heart beat fast. Maybe the master would set him free.
Keep going.
But the master said, "You are a good worker, Henry. I am giving you to my son. You must obey him and never tell a lie." Henry nodded, but he didn't say thank you. That would have been a lie.
So how is Henry feeling on this page?
He's feeling disappointed
Why was he disappointed?
because he might be he might be disappointed because he wanted to be free.
That's a very good thought. Go ahead and add that down there. Okay, go ahead and read a little louder for me, Isak. Let's go back and see what did you write. Oh, okay. Go ahead and read a little louder for me now.
Some slaves were freed by their owners. Henry's heart beat fast. Maybe the master would set them free.
Good. How do you think he's feeling on this page?
Henry?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hopeful.
Hopeful. I love that. You know, I'm going to go ahead and give you a Post-it note so you can write that down. Okay? Go ahead and put that on the bottom of that page. That's a great one to share. He's hopeful because
Their master might let him free.
excellent job. Keep going. Okay, how are we doing so far? Go back and show me what you've done so far, buddy. Just take me back to a couple pages here. Okay, tell me about that one.
Felt thrilled
Thrilled, and why is he thrilled on this page?
because he met her.
He met her. You're absolutely right. And what happened after he met her?
They got married.
They got married. You're going great. Go ahead and start reading for me right there.
His friend James came into the factory. He whispered to Henry, "Your wife and Trina were just sold at the market." "No," cried Henry. Henry couldn't move. He couldn't think. He couldn't work. "Twist the tobacco." The boss poked Henry. Henry twisted the tobacco leaves. His heart twisted in the chest.
Can you talk to me about that last sentence? What did it mean? It say his heart twisted in his chest.
In his chest.
What does that mean?
He was worried.
Worried. Very good. What do you think he's worried about?
He didn't believe that what he said his children was being sold at the market.
I think you're absolutely right. Keep going. Great job. Keep going. And you know what, Kendrick? I'm going to give you a Post-it note. I'm going to have you add that piece right there. Would you please put your feeling word down there for me? Okay, Haley, you can speak up for me, please. A little louder, darling.
Flea market, no, cried Henry. Henry couldn't lose. He couldn't trip. He couldn't twist that way tobacco. Was tied together. But Henry twisted tobacco. Bleeds. His heart twisted in his chest.
So how's he feeling right here?
He's feeling disappointed, terrified, and depressed.
All of them. All of them. Can you pick one?
I think he's feeling terrified.
Because
Your wife and children were just sold at the slave market.
that would make him terrified. I agree with you. Keep going. What are you thinking, Marvin? Why did you write? What was the word that you wrote there?
Excited.
Because
Henry met a girl that named Nancy.
very good. And what do you think might happen next?
Maybe they might be best friends.
They could be best friends, Marvin. You're right. Let's read to find out what happens. You can speak up a little, Hannah.
He ate supper and went to bed. Henry tried to think of happy times, but all he could see were the carts carrying away everyone he loved. Henry knew he would never see his family again.
Well, if you had a Post-it note down there, what would you write?
I'll say worried.
Worried? It could be worried because
Because
who would it be worried for?
Henry might be worried for his family, and because they got carried away, and he doesn't know what they got do.
That's a great feeling word. Go for it. Love it. Okay, would you please go ahead and finish just the last page that you're working on? I'm going to put a Post-it note on your page, and please, that's okay, write your name up here, okay? You're going to start this page tomorrow when I meet with you again. So go ahead and write your name on the top of the Post-it. Go ahead, Marvin. You'll start right there. Yes?
Do we have to write our last name?
No, you can just write your first name is fine. Okay, now let's talk about what happened in the story. Would you please go back to the first page? And what you're going to do is you're going to take turns talking about Henry's feelings and telling me what happened in the story that made him feel like that. So if I were to start, I could say, I think Henry on this page was depressed because he didn't even know his birthday. Okay? Turn the page. You had a Post-it on that page, Hannah. Would you please talk about how he felt here?
He felt terrified because he might not be free, and he wants to be free.
Right. And on this page, it talks about the last sentence. Would you please find the last sentence on this page? It says, do you see those leaves blowing in the wind? And then look at what it says. They are torn from the trees like slave children are torn from their families. Put your thumb up if you have an idea of what that means. Here, Kendrick.
It means like leaves are torn from their. It's kind of like leaves are from families, and then the people are torn from their families.
Very good. So the leaf could be like the children, and the tree would be representing the family, the parents. Exactly. Turn the page. Who has one? Why don't you, Isak, talk about your feeling there?
Hopeful.
Explain it.
Because he said
he might let them free.
Can you talk that again a little louder for me, please?
Henry thought that he was going to let them free.
Who was going to let him be free?
The master.
The master. Because what happened to the master on this page?
He was ill.
He was ill. Very good. But what happened? Did he get set free?
No.
No. So Hannah, you have, oh, and you have a Post-it note. Explain that one. What did you put here?
Terrified.
Tell me about that.
Because since the master, it says on the right page, it says that he's going to give it to another master.
Right. So he's terrified because he's going to have
Another master.
Excellent. Turn the page. And what happened on this page? We don't have a Post-it note, but let's see. Go ahead, Haley.
Some of the family was getting separated.
Good. And who was being separated? Do you remember on this page?
One of their relatives.
And it was, who was leaving his family? Who had to leave the family on this page?
Henry.
It was Henry. Where's Henry? Can you find him? He's hugging his mother. You see him there? Okay, turn the page. Now he's growing up. He's getting bigger. What's happening on this page? We got a word right here, Marvin. You want to explain yours?
Yeah. The master said if Henry did it wrong, he'll beat him.
And how do you think he's feeling?
Worried.
Excellent. Turn the page. Let's see. Who's got a word on this page? This will be the last one because some of you haven't quite gotten this far. This was one page. Would you please share your idea, Kendrick, right here?
To meet her and getting married.
And what's her name again? The character that he marries. Remember her name? Thumbs up. You remember her name is?
Nancy.
Nancy. Excellent job. Guys, tomorrow you'll pick up from where you left off. Before you leave, I want you to take 1 minute. You're going to get a mad minute. And I want you to write about Henry's feelings at the beginning of the story. Pick one feeling that you wrote down. You can turn to that page if you want to, or if you remember in your head, and tell me how Henry was feeling and why. And you have 1 minute to write your thoughts down. Okay, go.
What's a mad minute?
A mad minute is you get 1 minute to write down what I'm asking you to write down. So write down about Henry's feelings. One feeling you had at the beginning of the story. You can go back to your book if you need to. If you can't remember, a feeling that he had at the beginning of the story and why. So you could write about that one. Okay, you want to write that one? Okay. Finish it up real quick. It was your 1 minute to write. Nice job. I'm going to have you just read that one sentence for us that describes one feeling that he had at the beginning of the story. Okay, and if you didn't finish the writing, you can just tell me what you were going to write. Okay, Marvin?
That Henry was worried because his his master was ill, and then he was gonna die. Then he thinks he's gonna free Henry, but his master said that he's gonna give it to another master, and he's gonna be worried.
What a great explanation, Marvin, and you had some wonderful details. Nice job. Hannah?
He felt worried because his family got taken away.
Excellent.
Henry was hopeful because...
Read a little louder, please. You're doing great, Isak.
Henry was hopeful because his master said he might let them free.
Perfect. At Kendrick?
Henry was worried because his kids was gonna be
His kids were going to be...
sold at the slave market.
Good. Sold at the slave market. Good job, Kendrick. Haley?
I think that Henry was worried about getting separated
From
from his wife.
and children. Excellent job. Now, we did a great job. Thank you, boys and girls, and I'll see you tomorrow. These 5 students all did well identifying feeling words and understanding the story. They were able to describe the characters' feelings on each page with the help of the scaffold I provided. The next step will be to reduce my support and foster independence. For day 2, I won't give them the list of words on the board to choose from, but will have them refer to the longer list of character traits they've been keeping in their readers' notebooks.
I think that'd be a good challenge for them.
Great. Now here's a summary of day 2's guided reading lesson. Day 2 began with a quick review of the book.
So how was Henry feeling at the beginning of the story? Thumbs up if you have an idea. How was he feeling at the beginning, Hannah?
He felt worried that he won't be set free.
Very good, because his master had died. And what happened when his master died? Marvin?
He gave him to another master.
Very good. And then something happened. He changed. Haley, what happened?
He met Nancy.
And now he's feeling
Excited.
because...
He got married, had children.
That's right. But something happened.
His family got separated.
Right, so now he's worried about his family. Today you're going to read to find out how Henry tries to gain his freedom through the Underground Railroad.
Before we began reading, I introduced some new vocabulary words the students would encounter. Then during the reading portion of the lesson, I prompted students to describe the character's feelings and explain how his actions contributed to the sequence of events, just as I'd done on day 1.
How is Henry feeling on this page?
He's feeling worried that he might get caught when he goes in the boat.
Okay.
I also continued to prompt for decoding strategies with students who needed help.
Can you try a strategy? Can you sound the first part?
Whispered to Henry, your life and your wife and children were just sold at the slave market.
Isaac, what great work you did. You can check your picture. That can help you. And the first part of that word was, what's the first part? Wis. And that helped you think about what makes sense. Keep reading. Those are good strategies to use.
On this day, I provided the students with less scaffolding for the focus strategy than on day 1. They showed more independence in selecting words from their longer list of character traits rather than relying on the more limited list I'd written on the board the first day.
Tell me on this page, Kendrick, what was the feeling that Henry had?
He was determined.
Determined. Tell me more about that.
He was determined because
Speak up, darling.
he was determined because he didn't want to give up in the box so people could see him. So he kept on staying in the box until he went to Philadelphia.
Some students needed more scaffolding than others, so I provided support as necessary.
So how do you think he's feeling on this page, being in that box like that? Someone might hear him. That might be a word here. Do you think he's feeling lonely, miserable, or nervous?
Nervous.
Okay, write that down.
After reading, I reinforced the focus strategy by asking students to retell the story using the words they'd selected to describe the main character's feelings.
And how is he feeling now?
He's feeling excited because he's not a slave no more, and this is his first day not being a slave, and he's free, and he got a birthday.
This group made great progress with the retelling strategy. They did well and increased their independence when I reduced the scaffolding from day 1 to day 2. Not all of the students finished the book, so they'll spend one more day reading it, and then the following day they can spend 20 minutes on guided writing to sharpen their writing skills and extend their comprehension. Once they've demonstrated proficiency with the focus strategy of retelling using characters' feelings, they will be ready to move on to a new focus strategy in their next guided reading lesson.